There are rules women over 60 are told to follow. Rules about what to wear, what to stop wearing, what colors to choose, how much skin to show, when to finally start playing it safe. And most of us follow them without even questioning where they came from. But have you ever stopped to ask who wrote those rules? Because when you actually look at the women who command attention effortlessly, the ones who make you turn your head on the street and think, how does she do that? Almost none of them are following the playbook. They're not covering up, they're not playing safe, and they're definitely not dressing for approval. They figured out something the rest of us are still catching up to, that the rules were never about helping you look your best. They were about keeping you invisible. Linda Wright has been proving that wrong for decades. 77, silver-haired, almost no makeup, running a cashmere boutique tucked between the Seine and the Champs-Élysées. Nearly 50 years in the fashion world, and her answer to every single one of those rules is the same: no. And her fifth rule, the one she breaks most boldly, honestly made me rethink everything I thought I understood about what it means to be well-dressed. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Parker Holloway, and today we're pulling apart the rules women over 60 are told to follow and looking at why one of the most elegant women in the world ignores every single one of them. So let's get into it. Number 1. She has never surrendered bold color. Here's the standard advice women over 60 receive. Play it safe with neutrals. Keep everything understated. Don't attract too much attention. And I can see why that feels like the sensible path. There's a certain comfort in soft tones, a sense that you're being appropriate by staying quiet. But Linda Wright has completely abandoned that way of thinking. She reaches for deep reds, vivid emerald greens, electric cobalt blues, and she pulls them off with such ease that it never reads as overdone. Here's what matters. Color itself doesn't make you look older. An unflattering shade might drain your complexion, absolutely, but that applies whether you're 30 or 70. What Linda has figured out is that the right saturated color actually wakes your face up. It pulls attention toward you in the most flattering way possible. And for women over 50 and 60, that kind of presence is everything. You are worth being noticed. So if you've been gradually stripping every vibrant shade from your closet because someone implied that's what maturity looks like, consider this your invitation to reverse course. Begin with a single piece. A gorgeous red coat, a vivid scarf in cobalt, maybe a deep burgundy handbag. You don't need to transform your entire wardrobe in a weekend, but please stop accepting the idea that fading into the background is the cost of getting older. And just wait until you see how she handles proportion. That one genuinely caught me off guard. Number 2. She dismisses the rule that everything must be tailored and structured. There's this stubborn belief that as women get older, they should default to very fitted, very polished clothing to maintain a refined silhouette. And listen, I appreciate great tailoring as much as anyone, but Linda Wright blends relaxed shapes with more structured pieces in a way that feels both current and effortless. She might wear a generous cashmere sweater over slim-cut trousers, or a flowing draped coat layered above a clean, fitted dress. It's the tension between something easy and something defined that makes the whole look come alive. Where most women go wrong is committing entirely to one direction, all oversized, which can end up feeling formless, or all structured, which can come across as rigid and uncomfortable. Linda plays both sides at once, and that's where the magic happens. It's not about concealing your figure or boxing it in. It's about letting the pieces have a dialogue with each other. One element relaxed, one element close to the body. That interplay is what gives an outfit real depth. And what I find so freeing about this idea is that once it clicks, your whole approach to dressing shifts permanently. If you naturally lean toward looser, comfortable pieces, no one's asking you to abandon that. Simply add something that creates tension. A structured belt, a narrower trouser, a shoe with some definition. This isn't about becoming someone different, it's about elevating what already feels like you. Number 3, she commits to statement accessories when the world says scale it back. We've all been given this guidance at some point. Once you hit a certain age, keep accessories understated, dainty jewelry, quiet bags, nothing that demands attention. And sure, I understand the reasoning behind it, but Linda Wright wears the most remarkable scarves and jewelry, and somehow it never crosses the line into excess. What makes it work is that she uses accessories as the finishing note of an outfit. The clothing sets the tone, and the accessory delivers the emphasis. She's not layering piece after piece. She selects one or maybe two statement items and allows them to carry the moment. And what I find so compelling about this strategy is that it's actually simpler than people assume. When you own a stunning silk scarf or an arresting pair of earrings, the outfit underneath doesn't need to do much at all. In truth, the plainer the clothing, the more authority the accessory commands. If you're hesitant about overdoing it, begin with a scarf. A gorgeous patterned scarf has the power to entirely reshape a basic outfit, and it lets you test the waters without any lasting commitment. This is one of those situations where piling on doesn't help, but one deliberate, bold choice changes everything. Now, everything I've walked you through up to this point, most women could arrive at those conclusions given enough time and a willingness to experiment. But rules 4 and 5 operate on a different level entirely. These are the insights that took Linda Wright years of living in Paris to fully absorb. And truthfully, they're the ones that fundamentally shifted how I understand what style really means.
Number 4, she shatters the age-appropriate color palette. And I can already hear you, wait, didn't we just cover color? But this goes somewhere different. This isn't about embracing bold color in general. This is about the particular shades women over 60 are specifically warned away from. You know exactly which ones I mean. Bright pink belongs to younger women, deep black becomes too severe past a certain point, red lipstick signals you're trying too hard. Linda Wright embraces every single one of them. She wears black with absolute elegance. She brings in pinks and warm hues that most image consultants would discourage for a woman her age. And it succeeds because she doesn't subscribe to blanket color prescriptions. She responds to her own complexion, her own undertones, her own sense of what illuminates her face. That's the critical distinction. The real guideline isn't that specific colors become forbidden after 60. The real guideline is that the wrong shade of any color is unflattering at every age, and Linda Wright is living proof of that. So rather than questioning whether a color is appropriate for your age, ask yourself whether it brightens your eyes, whether it warms your skin, whether it makes you recognize the best version of yourself in the mirror. That's the only measure worth trusting. And if you're wondering which principles genuinely matter when it comes to dressing with real confidence, the last one is the one that stays with me the longest. Number 5, she refuses to accept that style should grow quieter with age. And this is the one that truly stops me in my tracks. Because we're not talking about a particular garment or a specific shade anymore. We're talking about an entire belief system. There's this silent assumption that as women get older, they should occupy less space, dress with less intention, fade into the crowd, stop drawing the eye. And nobody always says it directly. It shows up in the way retailers phase out interesting designs past certain sizes, in the way fashion coverage erases women beyond a particular age, in the way even loving friends sometimes murmur, "Don't you think that's a bit much?" Linda Wright at 77 is the walking contradiction of every bit of that. She doesn't dress to provoke. She doesn't dress for attention, but she dresses with complete conviction. Every outfit communicates, "I'm right here and I make no apologies for it." And I believe that's a feeling every woman over 50, over 60, over 70 has earned the right to carry. Getting dressed is not about vanity. It's a declaration of self-worth. It's your way of announcing to the world that you still count, that you still recognize yourself, and that you refuse to quietly recede just because someone somewhere decided that visibility comes with an expiration date. The most extraordinary women I've ever observed, and Linda Wright sits at the very top of that group, they aren't wearing the most pieces. They simply understand what to edit out, and what they never edit out is their own presence. That's the part so many women overlook. You could own the ideal wardrobe, master every color rule, nail every proportion. But if you're getting dressed to shrink, none of it serves you. Get dressed to show up, not for the world, for yourself. That woman you notice at a cafe in Paris or a shop in London or just walking down your own street who carries something you can't quite name, that effortless self-possession, that sense of being entirely comfortable in who she is, she hasn't been following the rules. She's been following her own lead. And at 77, Linda Wright is all the evidence you need that style doesn't diminish with the years. It gains depth. So here's my question. Which rule are you going to abandon tomorrow morning? And on the subject of women who completely reimagine how to dress after 60, next week I'm exploring someone whose philosophy on paring things back is the ideal counterpart to everything we covered today. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. All right, everyone, that is all I have for Linda Wright and the 5 rules she refuses to follow after 60. I hope you found this video helpful and maybe even a little inspiring. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. I want to hear from you in the comments. What's one style rule you've been obeying for years that you're finally ready to let go of? Be sure to follow me on Instagram, and as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.